I'm a 27-year-old woman, and I was the only one of my mother's 5 children she didn't give away. It's not because she loved me, but because she needed proof she didn't give up all of us. Growing up, I didn't have siblings in the traditional sense. I had shadows, hints, stories. 4 half-siblings scattered across foster homes, passed to distant relatives, or lost in sealed adoption files. Their names were never spoken unless it was to praise her bravery for giving them a chance at a better life. And always, she made it clear, I was the one she had fought to keep. People in our small town and church saw her as a reformed woman, a survivor. A mother who had made hard choices and then walked the hard road of redemption by raising her miracle child alone. She played that role well. She gave speeches at women's ministry lunches, cried during sermons, always wearing the same gold cross necklace, and a smile that trembled just enough to look real. But at home, she didn't talk to me like I was a miracle. She talked at me, brushed my hair like she was polishing a trophy, used my report cards as her receipts. At parent-teacher conferences, she would tear up while talking about her past, then gesture toward me like I was her prize. She's why I kept going, she'd say, then stare at me like I owed her something for existing. She told people she kept me because you can't give away all your blood. But even as a kid, I could tell I wasn't a daughter. I was a symbol. Proof she wasn't a monster. Proof she had changed. She never hit me in a way that would leave marks. But I knew exactly how far I could go before her hand would flash out and land across my shoulder or my arm. Never my face. Never enough to bruise. Just enough to remind me that I had no say. I couldn't have a locked drawer. Couldn't shut my door fully. Couldn't say no without being accused of rebelling or forgetting who kept me. If I missed curfew, she'd cry for days, slamming doors and refusing to cook. If I brought home a B instead of an A, she'd accuse me of making her look like a failure. If I tried to speak up about how unfair something was, she'd say, you should be thankful you weren't thrown away too. One time, when I was around 16, I asked her why she gave the others away. She slapped me before I even finished the question. Then she stood over me, voice shaking, and told me I had no right to judge what I didn't understand. That moment was never spoken about again. But something shifted after that. I stopped asking, and she stopped pretending I didn't know. Her friends adored her. The church crowd called her strong, God-fearing, brave. One of them even told me once that my mother was an example of redemption through motherhood. I just nodded. I had learned early on that saying nothing was safer than saying the truth. By the time I turned 19, I was in college, commuting from home to save money, working part-time. Life was stuck in that weird phase where you're technically an adult, but still answering to curfews, still walking on eggshells, still trying not to trigger another guilt storm. That's when I got the message. It came through Facebook. The name was Tessa, 25 years old, said she thought we might be related. I stared at her profile picture for a long time. Same eyes, similar smile. She told me she had been searching for our mother for years, only to learn our mother had kept me and abandoned her at age 3. I didn't answer right away. I needed to be sure it wasn't some scam or mistake. But something about the way she wrote, the things she knew, it didn't feel fake. So I told my mother. I shouldn't have. She lost it, pacing the living room, yelling about stalkers and people trying to destroy what God rebuilt. She told me to block Tessa immediately, before she ruins everything. I didn't block her. Instead, I created a new email and gave it to Tessa. We started exchanging messages. She sent me copies of court documents, placement records from foster care, even a blurry photo of her as a kid, standing in front of a social worker's office. She said the day she was taken away, our mother didn't even cry, just signed the papers and left. She had been in and out of group homes, eventually landing with a family that treated her well, but the damage